Aloha, friends and neighbors. Welcome. This is Rollin Frost, Kona Astrologer. Thank you for tuning in. I hope I can satisfy your thirst for knowledge a little bit anyway. What I have in mind for today's show is 2-3 minutes of philosophy, some basics. The train schedule story. Now we're going to get into these planets. Who the heck are they? They're the actors on the stage. Look at Venus. Oh boy. Each one of these planets is in your chart. Humanity studied them for 50,000 years, and we're going to get at them today. It's the second chapter in the app called the Sky Mirror Astrologer, and I'm doing little chapters of training for it. So last week we did setting the stage, and we learned about the houses, Ben Franklin would love it. Now we're going to, well, just like in chapter 1 I gave you inside outside, here comes another basic philosophy. Life is like a train ride, the S trainers told us, and when you're born you get on this train, and the train takes you through life, and when you die it takes you home to your family. Now while you're on the train ride of life, stuff happens. Meals and movies, stops and goes, lots of scheduled events. The trainer said, you could sit on the train all bummed out. Oh, the food's lousy. These weird people come by and bug me. There's an irritating clickety-clack to the wheels. Ugh. Or he said you could sit on the train ride more enjoyably. Wow, the food's free. And these strange people come by to entertain me. What fun. And there's a nice rhythm to the wheels, and the scenery's going by nice and fast. Great train ride. His point was, though, the train ride didn't change. It was the same old train ride. It was the person's attitude about it that changed. And that's where the free will is. Now, what we're dealing with here, friends and neighbors, is astrology that basically says the train, what kind of train it is, natal chart, and the schedule, transits, progressions. And so you can work on those physical things that you forgot when you were born. But you're the spirit riding on the train, okay? The more you know about the train, who you are in this incarnation, the better. And the more you know about the train schedule, the better. So, life is like a train ride. That's why last week sometimes I call the houses cars on the train. There's 12 cars on the train ride. You are the spirit riding on the train. Your free will is your attitude. Stuff's going to happen. It's not your fault. It's already programmed on the train. Be the observer and adjust your attitude. That's the game. All right, let's get a start on the actors. Last week we talked about the stage. More complicated than you thought, huh? But it's still the stage. And the actors are the planets, who are the people. Yes. Now you begin to get the idea, because you're looking at your natal chart, or you're looking at the app and the time of now and the place you're in. Well, you're looking at a stage and you're looking at actors on it. So what we want to do today is learn more about the actors. Who the heck are they? Humanity has studied these guys for the last 50,000 years. I'm going to give you one simple way to get into it. Now you could spend the rest of your life getting into who these actors are. And the truth is that all of humanity has studied these, and they have definite personalities. Now I'm going to give you a method of looking at the planets, and I'm going to leave you, I could get up 1,000 pictures of the moon. and all cultures in the world have a moon, Hina in Hawaiian, and they all picture Mother Mary and Diana the Huntress a little differently sometimes, or they have subtle differences, but you can't mistake the personality. That's what I'm getting at here. There's some basics about these characters on your stage, in your chart, and they're inside your psyche and reflected outside. So here's these three symbols. Now, all the planetary symbols that you see on the chart are made up of these three. And basically what this is here's the cross of matter. Matter is the hard stuff. Matter is this stuff. Yes. Next here we have, this crescent is really much harder to understand. If you realize this is actually a moon shape, okay? And it's like somebody's face. It has a personality. One of the words in the old books is soul. You come on, soul is different than spirit. And soul is the named being. Yes, that's John or Mary. It's a live animal, somebody with a face and a personality. So you could just call this, if you want, you could call this people, fleshed beings, okay? Up here in this circle is a circle of spirit. Spirit is all things non-physical. All things non-physical. So here is God. Here is law. Here is love, ethics. Non-physical things. No physicality. You could say this is ghosts and a whole bunch of things. But there's no physicality here like there is with the moon or the matter, huh? Now all three of these symbols are combined to give you the planetary meanings once you get into it. Check it out. All right, let's talk the sun in your chart. What is it? The sun is your father, pure and simple. And other men who might be like father, like a boss. On the interior side, it's your ego, your will, the stuff you're proud of. It's doing things, doing projects like father does, yeah? And generally has to do with men. The circle of spirit means these guys essentially do things out of non-physical reasons. They're oriented towards religion or love or God and represent these things. So, yes, non-physical stuff. You could trust father, yeah? It rules Leo, by the way, a fixed fire sign. Has a lot of endurance, a lot of energy. Ruling Leo is important. You'll learn to associate each one of the planets with a zodiac sign. More on that later. Now here's the moon. Here's Mother. Yeah, she's obviously a crescent, isn't it? She's just a simple glyph. And she also has to do with food and emotion and facial expressions. And in your chart, of course, she's your mother, and she's also ladies, all different kinds of ladies, and people with very strong facial expressions, big round moon faces that show the emotion very easily. Those are moon people in your chart. Rules the sign Cancer, a cardinal water sign. Next here we have, let's get a little more complicated. Here's Mercury. And what's Mercury? Well, Mercury is the crescent of soul. Here's people on top. And then second, we have the circle of spirit. On the bottom, we have the cross of matter. And what this tells you, it's an alchemy thing, is that people are most important. These are Geminis. These are kids. Think about an 8-year-old kid. It also has to do with words and letters, numbers, movement in general, transport, dancing, speaking, little things, pets and birds and wind. But here you know something about this character. This actor on your stage puts people first. And then spiritual things like love and God and law. And at the very bottom for a kid is the physical stuff, the money, the food. We don't care about that. We're more interested in love and all really interested in people, see? So you know a lot from the way these symbols are stacked and placed to who this character Mercury is, don't you? Okay, here's 2 more actors for your stage. Easy to recognize Romeo here and Juliet. They're on bathroom doors. Mars actually is the cross of matter over the circle of spirit. They changed him, you know, when the Romans got a hold of him, made that arrow, moved it over a little bit. But Mars has to do with hot things and sharp things and testosterone, and has to do with brothers and soldiers and young men and Romeo, you know, people who protect and fix things. Mars is the ruler of Aries, a cardinal fire sign. And here's the opposite. Now you notice Mars is the cross of matter over the circle of spirit. So Mars, he really cares most about physical things. Money, sex, food. He really knows about that stuff, and he puts it above religion and love and art and non-physical stuff. So this is a very practical young actor on your stage. Wherever Mars is, you know, you're very aware of the physical side of things here. Now Venus, she's the opposite. She puts the circle of spirit, non-physical things, above the cross of matter. She doesn't give a hoot for money. She cares about love and God and non-physical stuff. She, of course, is sisters and divas. Has to do with sex and money and pleasure and, yeah, sugar and sweets and sex and stuff like that. Venus rules Taurus, a fixed earth sign, and it appears Libra, a cardinal air sign. And this is confusing to rule two signs. It may be that Venus, of course, in ancient stuff is morning star Venus and evening star Venus. It may be that morning star Venus is Taurus and the evening star is Libra. We're not sure. At any rate, you'll know where Venus is, because wherever she is where the pleasure and the love and the sex and the sweets, and your comfort zone is here with Venus. Just like a good place to do some work is with Mars. Okay, here's your next pair of actors, Jupiter and Saturn. You'll see they're opposites. Jupiter puts the people on top of the cross of matter. People before money. Saturn's the opposite. He puts money and physical stuff over people. So Saturn in your chart might be the judge. He's the Scrooge, huh? Yeah. Jupiter could be the lawyer who puts people first. The professor. This guy's a liberal. Puts people first. And Saturn here, oh, he's conservative. Jupiter tends to be, because he rules Sagittarius, large, horsey people. Saturn tends to have to do with short, wiry people. Rules Capricorn. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So Sagittarius is like the centaurs and the horses. That's Jupiter. Saturn is more like the goat. And these two are a pair. And you're through the whole middle of your life. These are the guys on stage that might be most important, huh? Jupiter tells lightning bolts of truth. Study him in all the cultures. He shocked the rain god. Saturn, oh boy, the grim reaper. Watch out. So these are two important characters on stage. They're heavy-duty players. Okay, let's talk about outer planets. Uranus, interesting character. He's the technician, the scientist. But look at the glyph. Here's two people's faces. And they're not pointing at each other. They're looking away from each other.